So today's session we're going to look at simple decanting for wine. So there are more complicated ways to decant wine and often a sommelier may use a decanting method with a candle to help shine light through the glass to detect when the wine is starting to show sediment, and that's that point they can slow down and stop. However, for a large majority of our wines, we don't need to use a candle, and as long as we're careful and take our time with decanting, we can do it very simply. So firstly, why do we decant wine? So two main reasons. Firstly, the decanter acts as a larger surface area to allow more oxygen to get to the wine, which helps to open or oxidize the wine, rapid oxidation of the wine, which softens the acidity structure of the wine and makes the wine a little more enjoyable to drink. Is that for all wines? No, not really. Some wines really benefit from decanting, some wines do not benefit from decanting, and some wines really shouldn't be decanted. So we're going to kind of talk more about the decanting process, but as a general rule of thumb, the wines that are served in a Bordeaux glass, i.e. Bordeaux in style, are the best wines to decant. They're the ones that are going to get the most out of the decanting process, as a general rule of thumb. So we've already opened our Zinfandel, and the guest has checked that they're happy with their Zinfandel. They've smelt it, and they've given it a little try and made sure that the wine is not faulty. So we open the wine the same way we open wine. We then allow the guest to check the quality of the wine, and then we ask if the guest would like the wine to be decanted. Now, even wines that absolutely get optimal results from being decanted, it's not your choice whether that wine is decanted, it's the guest's choice. Maybe the guest would rather not have that wine decanted. And if you open a wine that you know would not benefit from being decanted, again, you may be able to recommend that to the guest, but it's ultimately the guest's choice about whether they choose to have the wine decanted or not. So we've got the wine open, and we've got our decanter, which is nice and clean and polished and washed out with nice hot water only. We're going to take the decanter and we're going to take our bottle of wine, and we're going to hold them nice and carefully, almost to arm's reach, and we're just going to start to pour some wine down the side of the bottle. Okay, so this is allowing the wine to hit the side of the bottle, and the wine is already starting to oxidate a lot quicker than if we just left the wine open in the bottle. We'll try and keep a little bit of a distance between the actual wine bottle and the decanter itself, and we're going to very slowly and carefully pour the wine into the decanter. The reason we're doing it slowly and carefully is for two reasons. Number one, we want to take our time and have a degree of grace over decanting our wine. And secondly, if there's any sediment in this bottle, in the wine, if you rush the decanting process, the sediment will come out with the wine. If you take your time and decant nice and carefully and slowly, the sediment will stay at the bottom of the wine, and therefore you'll be able to stop the wine just before the end and keep most of the sediment in the bottle and not pour it into the decanter. So that's the second reason we decant wine. It's to try and remove the wine from the bottle, leaving the sediment still in the bottle. So nice and carefully, we're taking our time. We're near to the end of the bottle now, and we're going to leave about sort of 50-60 ml of wine in that bottle to capture the sediment, and we're going to slowly turn and stop and place the bottle down on the table. So as you can see there's just a small amount of wine left in the bottle. That bottles remain on the guest's table, and near the end of the dining experience, if we want to, we can try and get the last drop of wine out away from that sediment at the end. So that wine is now decanted. It can be placed on the table and to open up and to oxidate. Obviously what we've done here now is we've got a greater surface area of wine compared to when it was in the bottle, but also the process of moving the wine from the bottle to the decanter has exposed the wine to a lot of air, which has helped to start that oxidation process. Once the guest is ready for the wine, which may be immediately or it may be a little later longer, we very carefully can pour the wine from the decanter into the glass. Remember, as we're pouring wine from a decanter into a glass, or as we're pouring wine into the glass, or no matter what, we need to make sure that we don't fill the glass any higher than the widest point of the glass. So around this sort of level, maybe slightly more than I put in here, is the absolute maximum amount of wine you want to pour into that glass. Again, keep a napkin close by, because you may find that the decanter drips and you can just neatly and cleanly remove the drip off the decanter before it's placed on the table. And that's how we decant wine.